This video will explain how payments work in Time to Pet. We'll also be covering the difference between credits and open payments and how best to use them in your Time to Pet. First, a little more information on the term payment in Time to Pet. There are two types of payments in Time to Pet. The first is payments made through one of our credit card processors. The second is a manual payment. Manual payments are any time a client pays you outside of Time to Pet, and you'll be manually marking an invoice as paid, either one by one or by using our bulk invoicing tool. ACH and credit card payments made through our credit card processors are automatically applied to invoices. Clients can make payments on their invoices through their app or their portal, and you can charge a client's payment methods that you have on file as well. Either way, payments made this way will be automatically applied to the invoices that were charged. You can also use our bulk invoicing tool to charge multiple invoices all at once. Manual payments are payments added to an invoice that were received outside of Time to Pet. Some examples of manual payments are cash, check, or perhaps you use an outside form of payment processing. These payments must be manually added to an invoice, otherwise the system won't realize a payment was made. We always like to remind our customers to make sure they leave a note with the manual payment so it's easier to reconcile in the future, such as cash payment or check number 235. Here, we'll be talking about the difference between a credit and an open payment in Time to Pet. A credit is manually applied and redeemed to a client's account. Credits are best used when you won't be receiving any money in exchange for the credit. Some examples here are promo codes, giving the client a referral credit amount for referring another client, or perhaps you want to credit a client an amount based on past performance from your team. While this occasion is rare, credits can also be used to clear bad debt on a client's account so the invoice won't show in your invoice list and you'll have a record of when and why the credit was applied. The critical thing to remember here is credits should only be used when you won't be receiving money on your end for the credit. An open payment is tied to payments and they work automatically. Unlike credits, open payments are used when you have received money. The most common reason for open payments is due to services being canceled after the client has already paid the invoice, the service. When a client makes a payment through Time to Pet, it's to a specific invoice, and that payment is automatically applied to that invoice. If an invoice changes after the payment has been made, we never assume where that overpayment should be applied. A few other cases that tend to result in open payments are voided invoices where a payment has already been made on that invoice, or editing the payment amount applied to a specific invoice. Another is canceling services and selecting Do Not Charge, or charging less than 100% for canceled services, will result in an open payment. Lastly, if services are moved off of an invoice that was already paid, the payment will not move with the moving events. This will create an open payment that you'll just need to apply to the invoice the events were moved to. One way to think of payments in Time to Pet is to think of the payment as a magnet. Once a payment is made, either manual or through one of our payment processors, that payment is attached to an invoice. If the paid invoice is altered, that overpayment will magnetize itself to the client's profile as an open payment. The open payment is then on that client's profile until it gets applied to another invoice. Thinking of payments as magnets means that the payment is stuck to the client's account, and the only way to clear an open payment is to apply it to another invoice, or edit the amount received of the payment, or to add the open payment as a tip. Always keep in mind, open payments can also be left on a client's account until the next time they need services. Please feel free to take a look at these commonly used help articles. You can always search our knowledge base for these topics in the future as well. This video was a general overview of how payments and open payments and credits work in Time to Pet. We also have several helpful articles in our knowledge base that we showed on the previous slide that dive deeper into these topics should you need them. The critical thing to remember is that credits should only be used when you won't be receiving money from the client. and open payments are automatically created when a payment has not been applied to an invoice. Thanks for joining us, and please feel free to reach out to us at support@timetopet.com if you have any additional questions.